So we have the front suspension ready to be installed with the big brake kit, the new coilovers from Vicks, the sway bar, the works. I came in and finished painting. I finished painting the spots that were left from when we did the power washing. And you can see that black is nice and shiny. So this is the tie rod that attaches to the wheel hub stuff, but watch. So it's loose on this side. It's not loose on the driver's side. So what happens is when you hit a bump, you can feel it. Sorry. When you hit a bump, it transfers it into the car, to the steering wheel, and you can hear it. So it doesn't really affect the in and out side, but it's going to allow it to move up and down like this. So it's not functioning correctly. But there's just these little plastic clips that hold it on. They're kind of like, wow, the old zip ties and shit looking stuff. So if we grab this, we can slide it out. Where'd it go? Of course. Where did it go? Oh. So it's just a little clippy. And then there's one on the inside. I'm going to put it right here for now. Even though I have to clean it. I need a rag. And so now we can slide this boot down. We should be able to slide this boot down. We can slide this boot down. Sliding the boot more. Okay. Inside the boot, well, there's greasy water and shit from all the pressure washing, and a hard chunk of, what is that? Looks like plastic. So I'm gonna have to pull this tie rod end to get to it, because it's really, no I don't. Well, I'm gonna have to take the tie rod off to put, I think, to put the new one on. I really want to get this out of here so I can see it and show you. There we go. Okay. So that's greasy, chunky stuff. So this is the tie rod. We call this the outer. And then here's the joint where the tie rod inner mounts to here. And then this is the actual rack from the steering. And then there's supposed to be a bushing in there that, so that's where our noise is. This is where our noise is coming from, because the bushing is no longer in there. There's chunks of this, chunks of plastic that used to be a bushing. I'll try to clean that out as best I can and then see about the new bush. Let me get on the internet and order a bushing. Okay, so the new bushing is on order. Two ways. Way number one is you pull the whole rack and pinion out. You got to take it loose from the steering column, one bolt, two nuts on either side, and then the whole thing will come out, and then you can do it. Other way is you have to have a special tool for taking the inner tie rod out. So it's available at the Harbor Freight for like 55 bucks. So I will pick that up tomorrow. But in the meantime, we have to take this outer tie rod off. And I mean, it's still serviceable, but it's ugly, so that's fine too. We can take it off, we can blast it, paint it, put it back on, and then of course we can do some cleaning. And then we're going to take loose this jam nut, and then we'll spin this off. I'm going to grab you right here. Then I'm going to spin this off. Like that. You... about 12. Now we can get the boot off. I think we'll just go ahead and replace that inner tie rod. It has to come off anyway, so we'll just go ahead and do that. This goes in the tank. Hold on. On this episode, we're taking apart the rack and pinion. We're gonna rebuild the rack and pinion. Well, yeah, we're gonna do all that. This thing has oil in it. Heavyweight oil, it's not grease. It looks like grease because it's 40 years old. But this inner tie rod is too wobbly and the bushing has disintegrated. So when you drive the car and you hit a bump inside the car, you hear this. And you feel it a little bit in the steering wheel. So there's a bushing that belongs in there. It was made out of plastic and it disintegrated, it broke into pieces. There's little chunks of it all over the floor. So we have to replace that bushing. The other side's not as wobbly, but this rack floats inside this tube basically. The only thing that holds it on is the steering pinion, and then there's a little set screw on the bottom that, you know, holds it in place and it slides around. So it's possible to rebuild it in the car. It's just going to be a little difficult to fill it with oil. And it's been pressure washed, what, 4 or 5 times already, but there's still goop on it, so it's coming out. But first, I'm just going to show you how to take the tie rod off. So there's a special tool. It's just like a big tube with some slots in it, and then it has a bunch of fittings, and so the fittings are going to fit over the tie rod, and then you put them in like this and it locks in, and then it's just like a big socket, a big deep socket basically. So I'm going to take this one off in the car just to show you you can do it, and then we're going to go inside the car and we got to take the rack out, and then we'll put it on the bench and take it apart. And we are that size. That is fortuitous. Okay, so we put that on. The problem now is this thing is touching the fucking wall. I think we'll be okay. And then we take our special tool, make sure it's open, it slides in. What What's that fucking noise? Lock it down. And then just like everything else, it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. Oh shit. Come on. You're not gonna leave the tool on this time. Ah! Otra vez. There we go. What happened? On this episode, we're taking the rack and pinion out of the car to rebuild it, service it, clean it, you know, the stuff.